that SM will basically has been collecting for the past year a ton of evidence on people and will be doing a massive lawsuit on Sasaeng fans and people who spread malicious rumors about their artists. So they've been really kind of taking their, email where people like inform them about like rumors and stuff pretty seriously. They've been collecting a lot of information on Sasaeng fans. And I think this is really huge because I think a lot of K-pop companies have tolerated this for a really long time. And, at the expense of the comfort and safety and privacy of some of their artists, because Sasaeng fans do spend a lot of money, obviously. But I think it's really smart and, a great first step for the industry for SM to be a leader on this. I think a lot of the time we like to, because they're the oldest, we like to give SM a lot of shit. But I do think, when they make a move like this, it's going to be important and make a lot of impact, hopefully, for the rest of the industry. Because I know Stray Kids has been, complaining a lot about Sasaengs and, a whole bunch of other people. And I know for a fact that, like, specific people in SM have been, like, really freaked out by it. So, I hope this is a good thing. And Korea also recently just passed a law that places heavier punishment on stalkers. So they're going to be using that as their main legal defense for attacking the Sasaeng fans. Nice. So, yeah, any thoughts?
Obviously, always protect your artist first. I feel like I've actually seen a lot of companies starting to do this recently this year, especially with all those bullying allegations that happened earlier this year. So I'm glad that people aren't just letting these malicious rumors go by. Like, I know before we even got on here, we're talking about how difficult fame is, and especially for like K-pop stars, because there's so much of their life is like televised, is like put out there, or like even like their images. So people feel closer to them. And I think it, to some degree, does encourage sasaeng behavior more than like the kind of celebrity culture that is here in the West. I think it's a little different. Obviously, we still have like crazy stalkers who like break into famous people's houses and stuff like that. No one is above that when you're just crazy, mental illness, like you have issues. But yeah, I think it's good. Like, always protect your artists, always do what you can to like help them and make them feel comfortable. Like, they should not have to worry about people being in their house or in their apartment or in their dorms, or like taking photos of them in bathrooms. Like, that's not okay. That is a serious invasion.
Or taking their pee and freezing it.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was the weirdest story ever.
Weirdest one ever.
I'm happy that they're taking steps towards this, because like Sid's saying, we do have instances of this, but I think it's more of a culture in Korea. Like, that's like sasaeng culture is like an actual like thing. So it's cool to see that they're taking steps to like, make sure people aren't getting stalked. I don't know. There's not much I could say about it other than I'm happy it's happening. And interesting that it's happening from SM as well. They're usually like the first to do a lot of things. So like Olivia's saying, it's cool that they are also being innovative. And
they've had a lot. I think it's also because specifically with NCT, they have had a lot of really crazy sasaeng stories. Like, have you heard of Mark in My Heart? This one sasaeng who's been stalking Mark like literally since pre-debut, kind of like the one who like stalks Jungkook and like I mean, is like really scary like stuff, and books flights and sitting next to them, and does all this like really crazy stalker behavior. And as a lover of Mark Lee, I hope Mark in My Heart goes to jail after this, and I hope the Wendy is selling skin bleach girl goes to jail after this. There's a couple people I'm ready for them to go. And if you've made up a stupid bullying rumor over like, name stole my eraser in middle school, and you didn't even fucking go to school with them, and I already don't care about what they did in middle school, like, at least do 200 hours of community service. This shit is stupid.
Sorry, but that has to end. I saw one time, I won't say the artist, but they were trending. It wasn't in K-pop, but they were trending and people were really upset at them, rightfully so. But then they totally delegitimized the whole thing because this one user was like, honestly, they did the same thing to me when we were in 5th grade. And they said blah, blah, blah. And everyone was in 5th grade.
Like,
I'm not
gives
holding
a
any.
shit?
I'm not gonna hold a kid accountable. Like, I'm sorry.
Not even
That's
5th
weird.
grade, middle school. Like,
That's what
high
everyone's
school,
mean.
Sure, but like, don't see that like you're gonna ruin their whole career over this. Now, some things are unexcusable. We know where the line is.
Yes.
But like, if you're gonna be like, he didn't close the door when I said I was cold and he wanted to keep it open, and then he called me annoying. Like, I do not care.
I don't.
I care.
I don't. I really do not.
But I will say that, like, if it's like, actual bullying, like psychological damage, or not even psychological damage, but like, you're just being a terrible person, that's different. If you're like repeatedly doing something, that's different. But one instance, one time, you'll live.
I also think that, who else I think is a big influence behind this is Chanyeol, because he's been pretty pissed off lately with that one girl who's like, he was cheating on me and blah blah blah. Here's the evidence, and she like has a picture of her like hugging him, but it's like just like a Snapchat like black drawing over what's supposed to be him, and I was like, girl, we all know you're faking it, but people are like, see, Chanyeol is a blah, 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 blah. I also was like, damn, that flight attendant, she might be going to jail. For real.
That's lame.
But I think,
those jokes were so funny.
I mean, they were funny, but that one girl was like clearly faking it. Like, she was like this, like for real. I was like, that's not even big enough to be a human, let alone a grown-ass adult man. And she's like, this is Chanyeol before he, like, hugging me before he left to, like, get on the plane and get... I was like, you're so stupid.
No, I don't know what's real and what's fake. All I know is, like, if it's proven, then I think people should start taking accountability. It's just hard for everyone to know where the line is in the age of the internet. So, like, I usually choose to, like, I'm like, I don't know if it's real or if it's fake. Like, with these people that are making up these rumors, a little part of me does feel...
We don't want to discredit people who actually, some people who make up rumors.
Of course.
Some of the people that make up these rumors, some of them, a part of me is like, should they be punished for, like, a small thing? Because some of these people are kids, and I don't think, like, they need to learn a lesson.
Big hit to the 12-year-old.
Yeah, I was like, come on, it's the internet. Like, I'm sorry, the nature, and I'm not a huge fan, the biggest fan of the internet, but the nature of the internet is that people can say whatever they want to say, and because of that, it gets toxic. I don't think kids should be on some parts of the internet, but I also just feel like because they're allowed to, where do we draw the line? Like, how are we going to punish, like, a 15-year-old? Because a lot of these people's fans in K-pop are, like, younger people. So I don't know how they're going to go about that,
Yeah. I mean, but slander is illegal. I mean, it's illegal in the United States. So, I mean...
Yeah, like defamation.
And all that kind of stuff. It is illegal. And, I know, like, obviously people are joking, a lot of the time. And I think, some jokes, some people get really offended when people are joking and they're like, take their account down and blah, 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 blah. But for the most part, I feel like the difference between at least I feel like for these lawyers and these companies, hopefully, they'll know the difference between jokes and, like,
and malicious intent.
Because I think, obviously, like, some things could be just like, you know, like a joking. There's a difference between like a joking thirst tweet and like harassment. You know what I mean? So I feel you're right. There is some kind of balancing act that they've got to do. But I think some of the instances, specifically with SM recently, have been pretty clearly like harassment, stalking, you know, malicious rumor mills. So I think that's
them
good.
to their schedules. And I remember in the winter, they were like on a set and it was snowing and the boys were already uncomfortable and cold. And then there were Sasaengs following them to like their housing while they were doing this photo shoot. And that's, I think it was Lucas took photos and put it on Bubble complaining. And I'm like, see,
that would have been
that's
me.
completely unacceptable. Like even Craker recently, they were like, if we catch you on our premises, we're calling the police and you're going to jail. They were like, stop coming to their dorms. Like you're making them uncomfortable and upset and you're scaring them. And they were like, and we will send you to prison. And I was like, prison, honey.
Yeah.
Prison.
I don't know how these celebrities deal with that, because that would be I'd be very anxious, like if people were like following me, or like, you know, if people that I didn't even know were like trying to get to see me. That kind of stuff freaks me out. So I think like I don't know how they deal with it, just like normal behavior as celebrities. So I think it's good that there's some type of line.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will definitely say that, like, at the end of the day, you do not know these people. As much as I feel like I am actually in love with this man, Jiyeon Jungkook, I don't know him. He does not know me. Like, I can't just go out of my way and be like, yes, I came here because we are soulmates. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
If some person that followed me on Instagram that I'd never met in person came to me in real life and was like, look, like I see what you post and I really think we have a connection and I would be like, oh, absolutely not. You're terrifying. You're terrifying. I have to move. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, and then,
no
you know,
a compliment.
When I've seen celebrities like around, they generally, I mean, a lot of people like being recognized, and that's fine. But some people are annoyed with it. But most, like 9 times out of 10, they would always rather you be like, oh, I'm a fan of your work. I'm a fan of what you do. I really admire your art. Than like, I'm so in love with you, you know?
Yeah.
You know, they
that's just...
and sometimes, you know, when you say like, oh, I'm a fan of your work, I really like your art, and I've connected to it in some kind of way, that is honestly like the way, like, if like that's sometimes you can have like a real conversation, like a genuine one. I mean, I don't do it just to like do it, but like if you've, you know, it can happen. And but if you're gonna be like weird and like predatory, they're obviously gonna like try to get the fuck out. So like,
yeah,
if you really are a fan of this person, you really like care about their like well-being, like give them some space, give them some privacy. They're not zoo animals.
Yeah, it's totally just like me and my brother had a conversation because it was when they were like, he was trying to understand, not that he understands, but we were talking about sexual assault and like in context of a woman, and I was like, you're not gonna get it because you're a guy. Like naturally it's gonna be a little harder for you to understand. But like, I think that if you're out with someone or you're out by yourself and like someone keeps talking to you, like keeps approaching you, is touching you, and you're like, please leave me alone, I'm not interested, and they continue to do that, that's harassment. Like at that point, you're harassing me. I told you I'm not interested, please walk away, I'm very uncomfortable, and you continue to approach me, that's harassment. So like, think of it the same exact context. Like, if you see a celebrity, yes, they're a public figure, they're easy to recognize, but they're also a person. If they tell you, hey, I'm sorry, not today, like I'm not in the best mood, or like I'm really busy, I have other stuff to do, you can't get in their way and like, you know, just be all over them. That's clearly not going to go over well. And it's not going to be a good experience for either of you. And that's not them being a bad person or being a bad artist and not catering to their fans. That's them being a person, a human being who should be respected and not treated as if they're not a human being. Like, they deserve the same respect that you would like in their situation. Yeah. Yes, they are public figures, but they are not public property.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, you know, if you see someone, they're out there minding their own business, you know, maybe it's cool that you saw them, but you don't have to be like, you know?
Shout out, I saw Ansel Elgort in Amsterdam, and I didn't say anything because you look like you didn't want to be bothered.
Well, you know what? You should have bothered him because fuck him. No.
I know he's not actually a great person, but
Olivia,
he would have loved
cut this part out. I was like, why is she mentioning that? That is not someone that we should be mentioning publicly.
But you know what? I'm proud of myself because I did see Kirsten Dunst once, and I didn't say anything, but I was internally, as a mentally ill girl who loves the Virgin Suicides, was very excited about that.
Coolest famous person I've ever seen in public is actually Alan Rickman.
Oh, that's a really good one.
That's a really good one. He was at a cafe, a French cafe in New York that I went to with my friend, and we just randomly bumped into him, and it was the craziest experience of my entire life. And he was sitting there reading the newspaper.
He was on page 394.
94.